Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Wandering Squires Cup. Well, kind of. We've got something a little special, a little different for you. Technically, the Wandering Squires Cup does not have a third place decider set. But the gamers got together, the contestants, and they said, hey, why don't we go ahead and play a best of three anyway, just to see who might be, the third place guy. And so we've got the games. We're going to cast them. I am, as always, here with Hiram of Tyre. Hiram, how you doing today?
I'm doing very well. I'm very excited for this.
Me too.
How are you doing?
I'm really excited for this set. There's something fun about it not being an official set because it just, it's evidence of just how these players love the game, and love the experience. Instead of we don't want it to end here. We want to keep going. I sympathize with that a lot,
Me too, especially because both of these players, correct me if I'm wrong, they lost their last set, which is why they're here.
Right.
So, it's easy to go, crap, I lost, I'm out, and just kind of stop there, having just been beaten myself.
Right.
I can absolutely affirm that, but these players didn't. They're playing on.
Yep.
I've said before how much I love this community, and I love this community.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm really excited about this. This is going to be pretty cool. We have in the teal the player that beat me, and I've been following the journey since, tenfingertom, playing as the Portuguese. Now, we did not get to cast this game because the records, again, unfortunately, went bad. But Tom went Portuguese if I remember correctly, in the last set, and did a very, very good job with the Portuguese. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he brings to the table this time around. And in the green, we have Stefan, I think it's Stephen AoE in the green, playing as the Mongols. Interesting civilizations. Hiram, walk us through the Portuguese. Why would you pick Portuguese on this map?
So, Portuguese on this map is definitely stronger on teams because the initial bonus is one of the strongest, in my opinion, especially for Nomad, and that's your teammates share line of sight from the Dark Age. No market necessary. That's obviously not at play here. You have very strong naval and gunpowder bonuses. You have your ships get extra 10%, I believe, hit points, all of them, and your units in general, like all of them, they cost 20% less gold.
Right.
Now that's significant because while you don't get a lot of unit specific bonuses, you don't get bonus to your cav, for instance, or anything like that. It gives you a lot of flexibility, in my opinion. You can go a bunch of different things. And unlike the Mongols, which I'm sure you'll cover, so I'm not going to touch on that here, but you kind of have an idea just by seeing the Civ exactly what they're going to do. And the Portuguese, you never know. Are they going to open archers? Are they going to open scouts and then go into knights? Are they going to scout archer? You don't know. And on maps like this, where you've got your docks, you're going to want to produce out. There's probably going to be a naval fight at some point. 10% extra hit points on your ships is good. Your ships costing 20% less gold is also good. And that gives you the flexibility to go into both land and water units. You could put all of your wooden gold into your ships and still leave your food for scouts. There's just a lot of flexibility at play here. It's hard to leverage because you don't get the unit-specific advantages.
Right.
So no matter what you go, you're never going to have the best scouts. You're never going to have the best archers. Or anything like that. But you do have options, a lot of options. And that's one of the reasons I like them.
I agree. They have a great economical focus, a lot of soft power, a lot of naval potential, which I think is great on a map like this. So good rundown. I think you're right on the money there. And then,
one thing I left out.
No, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
One thing I left out is they do get the Feitoria, which gives you a slow trickle of all resources starting in the Imperial Age.
Right.
I don't think we're going to see that on this map. Tend to see it more on maps that are easier to wall off, like Black Forest or whatever. Even Arena sometimes. Or on maps where you've got a significant barrier between you and your enemy, like islands. you can set 1 or 2 up and protect it. Nomad's a bit chaotic, so I doubt we're going to see it. But as long as we're talking about the civs,
Oh no! Oh, green loses a Vil. I'm sorry to interrupt, but
no,
Rhino...
not a problem.
that
breaks
hurts.
my heart every time I see
Steven,
it.
I'm so
breaks
sorry.
my heart.
Yep. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I don't think we're going to see it, but as long as we're covering the civ and especially their economic
Right.
potential, you cannot leave out the Feitoria or Fetoria or however you pronounce it.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! The zebra came out of nowhere, blocked the second Rhino Vil, and that Vil died as well. That hurts. Now, Steven had a strong eco lead. He was up, I want to say 3 Vils. So even after losing those 2 Vils, he's still up 2 right now. Because I think he's put more into the fishing. And he's got 1 more Vil from the town center. So he's not in a bad position. But man, does that have to be frustrating as all get out. This is a tournament game. And, you know, with game 1 on the line here, losing 2 Vils to the boar is not fun.
No, it is certainly not.
I agree with you exactly. I don't think we'll see the Feitoria, but, you know, if the game goes that long, it's just one more thing that the Portuguese have. They have a lot of economic, options early on, a lot of flexibility, and that kind of an ability to contest water, which is going to be really nice. So I think there's a lot of potential for the Portuguese. I like what Tom's bringing to the table. Now, Steven in the green is playing as the Mongols. They have a couple of really neat bonuses. One, their hunters work 40% faster. So, when they're collecting from the rhinos or from the zebras here, they're going to be getting that food much more quickly than other civilizations. That's a really nice bonus. Again, especially on a map like Nomad here, where you can find hunt all over the place. He may be able to take advantage of that throughout this match. We also have the fact that with the Huns, their light cav and their step lancers have additional HP. So there is a typical early strategy, which would be a scout rush. The Mongols are pretty good at that. Not necessarily saying he's going to do that. We do not see him putting a barracks down as we, here in the Dark Age as he's going up to feudal. So maybe he won't do a scout rush, but if he wanted to, the Mongols have that option. And of course, in the late game too, oftentimes you mess up, light cav, Hussar, and that kind of thing. So, and we see here tenfingertom moving out to put a mill down and collect some berries, and I'm gonna guess maybe some of the hunt down here as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
So Tom's the first up to feudal with Steven about 30 seconds behind him. Tom has closed a bit of that villager gap, but of course, Steven will be able to keep up at this point. Right. So got about a 1 vil difference, which is pretty impressive considering that Steven has lost 2 to rhinos. So well played on him. Good job.
Yep. The other thing that I do have to highlight is with the Mongols, their cav archer. Their cav archers fire 25% faster. They do have the Mongudai, which is their unique unit, which is basically a super powered cav archer, right? And they do have very good siege as well. So I would not be surprised if Steven is planning for a late game cav archer Mongolian ram rush. Something like that, right? That's pretty typical. But we do see... Oh, Tom, fast castling. Really well played on his part.
Absolutely. He had 4 villagers on gold. He got them there even before he was all the way up to feudal. He's housed now.
Yeah, I was mentioning. Yeah,
that's not nearly as big a deal when you're already teching up.
And he sees it too. He's getting another house up.
Yep. So good on him. Fishing eco is pretty even across the board, 6 and 6. Although Steven's getting out fire galleys and Tom isn't yet. They're probing around. They're going to look for some fishing eco damage now because of where it's positioned, almost on the other end of the map. The thing about going water like that is you've got to put the resources in, and it's sometimes a while before you can do anything with it. And so Tom moves quickly. He can leverage that resource advantage. He's going to be in the castle age first. maybe get in some damage early. I don't think so, considering how Steven's kind of built his town. It's going to be difficult to raid. You might get some, but you're not going to get a lot.
Something else I have to add in, which corresponds to your point. Tom knows where Steven is, or at the very least, he's seen a couple of houses. If you go into Fog of War,
Right.
he's seen at least a hint of where Steven is. Steven does not know where Tom is. He has no info on that. And so I feel like there's a certain amount of vulnerability that maybe, Steven should be feeling if he doesn't already.
Yeah.
Steven, however, is moving out with 4 fire galleys.
Yep.
And so if Tom is not careful or ready to defend that, and as I say that, he is putting caravels out. So caravel is a Portuguese unique unit. If I remember correctly, the caravel is very good in groups. It's almost like an Arambai, where if you get up a lot of them, they're hard to beat. But mano a mano, in small engagements, they may not be enough to deal with these fire galleys. Let's find out.
Now, considering they outrange the fire galleys, and because they can attack multiples, they might actually kite better than galleys.
We'll see.
It depends on if we're going to check the micro here. There's no micro. Okay, he's pulling back.
Yeah.
Looking at the damage across the board, it's not that much.
Yeah.
It's really not. At this point, I think I favor galleys. Especially as he's trying to split and micro 3 ships all at once, and the galleys are going to be able to just chase him down. If you're going to micro like this, if you're going to go galleys into fire ships, I think you've got to keep them in a horde and be able to burn them down one at a time. Caravel might be a good build, but you got to get a sufficient horde.
We see Tom throwing a castle down into the middle of the map.
Yeah. Now, check it out here, though. The fire galleys moved in. They cleared up.
And now they're just sitting
good
there.
for them.
Yeah.
But the fishing eco continues to fish.
Yeah. I have to imagine maybe he's just distracted. Maybe he's focused on something else. You haven't come all this way just to stop here, right?
Well, he's working on getting up his own castle, which is, which is good. And maybe he thinks, hey, my ships are near the docks. I can see what he's doing. I mean, he only saw one of the docks, so. All right. So there are 3 caravels in that dock. There's a demolition raft in the first dock, and war galley is coming in. I think Tom realizes that that's just not going to work. Yeah, just watching the trade here, I would much, much, much prefer galleys. Maybe not ultimately, but in this trade here.
Right. Well, of course, when he started up the caravels, he didn't know he was going to be attacked. He's just
absolutely.
I'll have the time to mess this up.
Well, and then he did research war galley, but if you look at his docks now, he's still building caravels. That could work for him. It makes sense.
I don't think war galley does enough for caravel.
It doesn't. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He tech switched as far as the research goes, but he hasn't tech switched as far as the ships go.
Right.
We see the Mongudai coming in for Steven. He's building them at his castle. Getting Broadkin arrow in. He's already got fletching, which we would expect to see.
Yeah. Now, something I've got to call out about this matchup, especially because it seems like it's actually panning out this way, right? Both players seem to want to go into their unique units. The Portuguese are infamous for their organ guns. The Mongols love Mongudai. The unique aspect of the Mongudai is it has bonus damage versus siege units. And the organ gun counts as a siege unit. So I think in equal numbers, the Mongudai is designed to beat organ guns. And I don't know if Tom realizes that or, he needs to have some kind of game plan.
See, it's another one of those things. It's the organ gun is an area of attack unit. And so if you get a sufficient horde of them, it might even beat Mongudai.
That's
but
true.
One-on-one, one-on-one, it's definitely going to lose.
Yeah. Like right here, these organ guns are pushed out far enough from his castle. If I were Steven, I would be moving out right away to intercept, clean up these numbers before they get any bigger.
3 organ guns, 4 organ guns is not a huge threat.
Right.
15, 20, 30 organ guns. That's no fun.
Yeah.
Ask me how I know. Actually don't.
Here we go. We got a battle about to start.
Yep, we got the caravels moving in on Steven's fishing eco. Meanwhile,
Boom.
the
Yep.
Mongudai are moving in towards the organ guns.
Look at how
take
quickly
one,
they're melting.
2, they're just going down, and they're taking almost no damage. It's almost a mirror, and they're the taunts back and forth. I love it. I really do.
Yeah, me too.
Third TC coming in for Tom. He's wanting to leverage into that eco a bit, it looks like. Checking the villagers, they're roughly close. So the idle TC time is surprisingly, considering that's in Tom's favor.
Yeah. It looks like maybe...
Not surprising, yeah. Steven's got a second TC up already, so that explains it.
Yeah. I think the trick here is, as the Portuguese, you want to go into gold units. That's the temptation.
Yeah.
You know, you got that bonus for, I don't know, knights, archers, organ guns, something, right? Especially organ guns. You love organ guns. But if you see these Mongudai, you know, you need to go skirmisher. And maybe he could put up a siege workshop and do, you know, Mangano, Onager. That would be good. He's going monastery. And as much as I love monks, I think that's a mistake in this case, because monks won't do anything against cav archer. The archers just shoot him down.
Agree.
Maybe he wants the relics. I guess that would be the point. But
now we see 20 on gold for Steven versus.
Oh,
yep.
Yeah, Steven is raiding now. So we see Tom with the stronger eco right now, but it seems like Steven has the military flexibility and he's leveraging that well.
And Mongudai, they're fast. They do a lot of damage. They're difficult to counter. Tom's going to try to counter with the defensive castle, but it's going to be hard to get up when you've got Mongudai already there. You're going to have to try to sneak it. You can't even quick wall it in. You know, it'll just be killed right over the top.
Yep.
I will say the other thing that leverages, you know, some of the strength of the Portuguese is they get a significant number of advantages to their gunpowder in the arquebus technology.
Yeah.
So it's more accurate. It does more damage. Well, not more damage as far as like single hit, but your damage per second is going to go up because of the accuracy.
Right.
I truly don't know if there is a critical mass at which X numbers of organ gun.
Oh no! Oh, we're gonna lose a lot of ills here.
Yep.
If you're Tom. That was a mixed take, he says, and he's exactly right. Yeah, this is a deadly mixed take. Yeah, we lost a bunch of ills there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at least that I'm counting. I'd have to rewind to get a precise amount, but yeah, I say Steven is almost taking back the eco lead. Having said that, something I do want to highlight that I think we missed earlier, a single caravel is up north actually shooting at Steven's dock. And so it looks like Tom has cleared out Steven's fishing eco.
He has. The caravels moved in right when the Mingudai moved in. Yep, Tom's trying to get a castle up, and but he's just not going to be able to do it.
Steven taking more Vil kills. Now, he's gone into skirmisher. That's good. I think that's the move he had to make.
Agreed.
But is it too little too late? Right now, the eco's pretty even. No, I don't think anybody's really won this yet, but...
No, they're trading. Tom's control of the water is significant. It's going to be difficult for the Mongols to get that back, I think. It can be done, but it's going to be difficult. Yeah. And here's where some of the Portuguese advantages can really come into play. Tom's food eco, at least a decent amount of it, is invulnerable to the Mingudai raiding. Can't be raided.
Because of
if he gets to the Imperial Age, if he gets to the Imperial Age and decides to go Feitoria, which is its own thing, we've already talked about that.
Right.
That can't be raided.
Right.
It can be destroyed, but not raided.
we have Steven, the first one up to Imperial Age. Which is not what I was expecting, just looking at the numbers and thinking, okay, Tom has more on food, he's got the fishing eco. But Steven,
I think Tom
making use
might
of
have
that
gone up
market.
first if he had decided to tech switch into the skirmishers a little faster.
Mhm.
But the extra food and the extra gold, the drain that he's putting on himself by going into what he's going, is going to make it hard to get up to imp. It makes it harder to get up to imp faster. Combine that with the rating.
I think that this moment right here, if we could just, I'm not going to, I'm saying if we could just pause and take a look at the situation of the game right now. It's fascinating, and I don't know who's going to win this, because you have Tom, he's got a stronger eco situation right now, more castles up, so he has more land control, right? He has complete control of the water, right? So he's got all that going for him, but Steven is the first one up to Imperial Age, and he will be up there quite a bit sooner than Tom will. And the question I have is he going to rush trebuchets? And if he does, how many can he bring down? How many castles can he take out? Before...
Tom is not going to be able to get that last castle up. It doesn't look like it's going to quite get to doubt status, and he still might be able to slip it up, but...
Yeah.
It's not being trebbed down right now, in other words, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not
more organ guns going down before they can mass up sufficiently.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm just Steven has a military lead and the Imperial Age.
Yeah.
That's hard. That's hard if you're Tom.
Yep, it really is. With the KD almost double that of Tom's and an eco KD over double that of Tom's.
And Steven, a man after my own strategic mind, he gets to Imperial Age, and what is the first thing he does? Trebuchet.
Trebuchets.
Yep, it goes for 2 of them.
Yep. Now, if he decides to trickle treb,
Tom is moving around and getting that castle up.
Yep. But again, a castle against trebuchets, the trebuchets are going to just take it down. Mongudai come in to try to push it back. Castle goes up.
Yep, two Mongudai go down.
Maybe 3. Yep.
I know the concern about trickle trebbing, but what is Tom going to push back with? Almost all of his military is naval. He's got organ guns, which, again, the Mongudai will just shred. And he's not even going to trickle treb. He's got 2 more trebuchets on the way.
Yeah. By trickle treb, I don't necessarily just mean, bringing them in and putting them to bear as soon as they come up. If you're the first up to imp, and Steven is, then yeah, by all means, bring them to bear as soon as you can. As long as you can keep them alive, that's how you get and keep that treb advantage. Having said that, what a lot of people do, and I'm not surprised to see that Steven doesn't. He deserves to be in this tournament after all. But what a lot of people do is say, great, I'm first up to imp, build 2 trebs, maybe 3, and say, there, I've got the advantage, right? No. That is not how it is done, son.
Yeah. It is interesting when you're playing a civilization like Mongudai, which have such a strong unique unit, and you really want to go heavy into that unique unit, that you wonder how many trebs should I get up, and then when do I go back to just producing unique unit, right?
Yep.
Even now, Tom still has an eco lead, and that's when it's almost 30 Vils that have been killed. In Steven's favor. Yeah, a bunch of organ guns, but no, this won't work. And that's, I think, even before. I mean, that's GG. Tom.
Yeah, no, that's over. Yeah.
Steven had picked up Parthian tactics, so he's got faster firing, Cav Archer. But even without that, just the siege unit bonus, I think this is a hard counter to organ guns. And I don't know that Tom realized it, but that's how the cookie crumbles. Game 1 goes to Steven. Well done. Great first tournament, first set in this tournament. Or first game in this set, I guess you could say. Hiram, any parting thoughts on this one?
I'm a little sad to see the Portuguese get beat. Not because I'm backing Tom over Steven, but because Portuguese is one of those that is just I'm finding myself more and more intrigued by, and
Right.
I would have liked to see
Right.
it play out a little more.
It is true that
Um,
if you were to get a standard like best of meta tier list, Mongols would be up higher than the Portuguese would. So
yeah.
there's kind of a natural instinct to root for the underdog, and just as far as the civs go, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
So there is that. On the other hand, I think both players kind of played into their strengths or tried to.
Mm-hmm.
I think, you know, I think Steven teched into a counter unit without, ever seeing the organ gun. He was already countering it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just fatal.
Right. Right.
That's hard to deal with.
Exactly. Well done to Steven here on game one. We're moving on to game two of our third place decider set. Okay, here we are in game two of our third place decider set. Steven in the green playing as the Magyar, and tenfingertom in the teal playing as the Japanese. Now, Hiram, I don't remember fully. I can't promise this, but if I remember correctly, Tom beat me on Golden Hill back in our set playing the Japanese against my Bulgarians.
That
So,
sounds right. It's
yeah.
been a hot minute since, but that sounds right.
So I want to say what I'm noticing is Tom is picking some comfort picks. He is going with old standbys. He played Portuguese in the last set.
Yeah.
And in this set, he's playing Japanese again on this map. His last set was Portuguese on Nomad.
Yeah.
And then this time it's Japanese on Golden Hill. I've not followed Steven's games, but I would imagine one way or the other, this is the final game in this tournament for these two players, win or lose. And so I can imagine you've built up some experience over the games, and you're probably wanting to, fall back on what you've learned. So it doesn't surprise me, at least in Tom's case.
Absolutely not. What is a little surprising to me, especially given the civ that Steven picked, is that in your game, if I recall, one of the things Tom did very early was wall off that center island.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And against the Magyar, I would think that would be a very good idea.
Yep. I was about to go there. Yeah. The Magyar, they have such a good scout rush that I'm not saying that Steven will necessarily do it, but I would be surprised if Tom does not anticipate the possibility and react. He's got a really nice wood line here too, that he can incorporate that into the wall, and it's not going to be that tough, but there's a danger there. Now,
yep, there absolutely is.
One thing about being Japanese is because your docks, well, not your docks, your mills, your mining camps, lumber camps all cost 50% less wood. You save wood right out of the gate with your earliest moves. That means you can get a dock up faster, and you can get early fishing ships out faster. And we are seeing Tom do that. So I think we're going to see an early bonus for the Japanese on a Nomad map like this. That part's nice.
I think also Tom did the right thing in relocating some of his eco early. Instead of putting down the dock relatively close to his town center, which is what Steven did. Mm-hmm. If he is anticipating a raid, you can either cluster and try to defend it all, or you can try to split some off and hope it doesn't get picked out. Mm-hmm. And I tend to favor the latter. Diversify, don't get locked in. It's easy to get just backed into a corner. Loom coming in early for Steven.
I think he's doing that. If you look, there's this one vill that's going way far out to get a boar, or it was. What is this villager doing? Is it?
I don't know.
She's scouting. That's what it is. She doesn't know where the resources are.
Well, but here's the thing: don't Magyar have very strong vills against boar? Or not boar, wolves.
Wolves. Yeah, the Magyar do have the single hit kill on wolves, so no threat there. I don't
know the loom. I don't get.
I'm gonna guess. I don't know, but I'm gonna guess that he was out of food, and he wanted to keep the TC from going idle.
That makes sense.
Yeah, this is one of the painful things about Nomad maps. You don't start with a scout. So
that's right. Scouting with a vill is the right play. It absolutely is. There's no question about it.
Now, what I would love to see is if Steven finds these sheep. Oh, wait. There it is. Okay, Steven finds sheep. Bring the Vil back home, scout with the sheep.
No, you scout with a Vil. You get more sheep. You have a longer line of sight. Vil scouting, in my opinion, and I know people, very high-level Elo players who back me on this. In my opinion, Vil scouting is the way to go.
You might be right. And here, finally, we're getting that boar. I think that's part of why Loom came in.
Yeah.
So
the thing about Vil scouting, you will get more sheep, so that Vil will pay for itself in the resources you find. You have the ability to, after you scout out in a direction, build a building in that direction.
Yeah.
You can scout out and then build a mill or what have you.
You're right. You are right. I got to admit, you're right. It's just that I get my instinct is all about worker efficiency, and the thought of sending a Vil out to walk around means it's not doing any work, so it's effectively idle. And
interrupting real quick, Tom is slipping a villager.
Oh,
I like it.
Oh, this is the kind of dynamic play you love to see.
Yeah.
What is going to happen here?
Anyway, the thing you have to remember, you absolutely have to remember, on a nomad map, your town center is your dock. Or rephrase, your dock is your town center, and your town center is, your villagers are your scouts.
Okay.
So, second dock coming out for Tom. That location's a little surprising. I don't think you're going to get much more with that dock. I don't know. Maybe he's got a plan for it. He built his docks kind of similarly in the last game, so
or maybe he's just pulling it back to the edge of the map because he really doesn't want to play his hand early and reveal that there's a Vil on this side of the river.
And the other thing, okay, this makes sense. He wants to build another dock anyway, right?
Right.
And now this villager can fish.
Right.
Versus building a lumber camp, he can just get some food. Steven clicks up to Feudal Age, 26 Vil, 26 pop, so.
If you want to make a prediction here, how likely do you think it is that Steven... How heavily do you think Steven will try to contest water?
If I had to make a prediction, it would be not much at all. And here's why. He went 5 fishing boats instead of 7 last game. Then again, he's building a second dock. So I immediately revisit that thought. If I had him, I will immediately reevaluate. He wants to hold the water.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. If you're going a heavy food-based civ, scouts cost a lot of food. So going fishing eco makes a lot of sense.
I don't know, and I'm not gonna say it's a mistake just because again these guys are way further in the tournament than I got, so maybe they know something I don't. But I don't know why both players have decided to go with 5 fishing ships and then just stop there.
My guess would be they want wood
for the naval part. Yeah, that makes sense. Flyer galley coming in for Steven.
Yeah, and that would be why.
Tom clicks up to Feudal, and his immediate reaction is to get a galley out. So we're going to see the fire galley versus galley battle once again.
I say it again. 2 fire galleys beat 2 regular galleys. 5 regular galleys beat 5 fire galleys. That's your dynamic. Right. So if you're looking to dominate the water, go regular galleys. But it's one of those moves. I remember back in the Jiu-Jitsu days. Gosh, I miss Jiu-Jitsu. But there are some moves that the instructors will tell you, if you decide to commit to this move, you have to commit. There is no if I get it, you must get it. You have you have to lock it in and make it stick.
Right.
And I think that regular galleys is one of those. If you're just going to throw something out, throw 2 or 3 of something out and say, I'll get what I can with this. Then, fire galleys makes a lot of sense. if you're going to commit to the water and absolutely hold the water, regular galleys is the most sense. We're seeing almost the inverse of that play out. Tom goes 2 galleys. No, he's got more coming in, so that's good. Never mind.
And what we do see, though, is in the water, we got 2 galleys running into 2 fire galleys.
Yep.
I'm sorry, 3 fire galleys, but
yep.
Both players distracted. And Tom is apparently sacrificing these galleys to try to harass the fishing eco itself. It's an interesting call.
Yeah, it's not what I would do.
Well, especially because if you're going galleys, I mean, you just got finished saying numbers are really important.
They absolutely are. But if you look, he's building more galleys back at his home base, and what he might be doing is trying to buy time to let them amass. Having said that, he just sends them forward. And now, again, these players know more than I do, so maybe they know something I don't. And of course, they've got a plan that I can only guess at. So we'll see how that plays out. But if you're going to galley, keep them together. Send one forward sacrificially, get an idea of what your enemy's doing. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Even better, send a fishing boat. That way you're not revealing your tech to your enemy.
Tom, taking our attention off the water here a little bit, Tom is giving me PTSD looking at this watchtower in the middle of the island surrounded by palisades.
Yep.
I hate it, Tom. I hate it. I just want you to know, man. It's the worst. No, but for real, that's a really good move, and it does give him early control of the island. Okay, yeah, and here we go. Now, it's 5.
If he's not careful, he's going to lose this scout.
Oh,
Yep. Nope. Yep. So Tom is distracted. He's controlling his bills back at home, and the galleys just don't.
And
look at that. Yep.
Steven didn't get anything with that.
Yep.
On the flip side, Steven is almost up to Castle Age. Tom has the resources for it, but he does not have all the buildings.
Yep. It looks like a little bit of a headspace issue.
Yep.
You know, he put all that wood into galleys, and again, if you're going to go galleys, you got to commit. But it's going to push back his castle time by a lot, and that's going to hurt. That's going to really hurt. When knights, Magyar knights start knocking down your door.
You called it. Knights coming out right now. Now, what we do see is a stable here in the back corner from Tom.
Yep. Now, this is huge. Because if he can start pumping out from this direction and raiding, he can totally interrupt, potentially, Steven's entire decision cycle, force him to recall back home, and give him the time he needs to put out what he wants to put out.
Yep.
What would you want to put out as Steven? I'm sorry, as Tom.
I just got to highlight this, too. He's gone heavy into the cav techs as well. So he just picked up scale barding armor. He's getting bloodlines and forging. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Castle Age techs come in.
Yep.
He's got
Spearman
the food
coming
for
in
it.
for Tom. Yeah.
He might want to sell some. Well, he doesn't have a market, but he doesn't have a whole lot of gold. So, but you know what he does? That he is getting stone up. So more towers.
Yep.
You know what though? Do you
Towers
think
don't do much against knights?
That's exactly where I was going with this. Do you think that the knights are sufficient to just knock down these palisades and take out the tower anyway?
I absolutely do. 5 knights, 6 knights will shred a watchtower. They'll just shred it. And I can't quite tell. It doesn't look like they're covering each other, or if they are, they're not covering each other completely, which is to say you've got an open corner or an open side where you're out of range of the other tower. If I were doing this, if I were Tom doing this, I'd put stone walls there. It's not a lot of stone. It's like 8 stone per tower. And it makes it a lot harder to knock down.
At the exact same time that the mills get started, here come the knights.
Yep.
And of course, you don't even have to fight the towers. You can just,
bypass them.
Move around. Yeah.
I think fighting the towers here is a mistake. It looks like they are getting damage on the tower without knocking down
Now,
the walls. He doesn't. Yeah. 'cause
Japanese
he's
spearmen are
just
coming
moving the
in.
corners. Yeah. Now the Japanese spearmen, they do attack faster.
Yes.
They do get that infantry attack bonus. Having
Ooh.
said that, they're still spearmen
They're
against knights.
they're feudal age spearmen. Oh, is this? Oh, what is?
There's
oh,
a
there's
hole
a
in the
hole.
wall.
Oh
There are two
no.
holes. That's painful.
Oh
Meanwhile,
no.
Stephen has gone in. He's got the fire galleys knocking down Tom's docks. Tom is building fire galleys of his own.
Mm-hmm.
Now Tom's got knights in the back, in that little hidden base there. So he could deploy them now, and maybe while Stephen's distracted, start picking up Vil kills.
That's sort of where my head's at right now too. Like, you need to hope that maybe Steven is distracted by the attack, and you can just swoop in and get a bunch of free Vil kills.
Yep.
Oh, this hurts.
Yeah.
Okay, Pikeman finally in. All right.
That's gonna help a lot, especially because he's got some of the infantry techs already. He's got
one knight goes down.
Forging come in. Yep. One knight goes down, but
more knights
one
coming
knight
in.
for a couple Pikemen. Yeah. That's a lot of knights, Tony.
Yeah, you got 12 knights. And what is that, 3 pikemen? Yeah.
Yep. That's a lot of knights.
He's got more coming in. Now, if the knights will just stay there, just stay, hammering away at buildings, you can whittle that force down. Meanwhile, back here, I really think Tom needs to do something with those knights now.
Yeah, I agree. I wonder if he's forgotten about them.
Oh no, more Vils.
More Vils go down. This
is
brutal.
Looking
17,
more dire.
18, 19 Vils go down for Tom.
Second town center coming up.
Yeah, which is good, just in the nick of time, too.
Yep. That was almost
a second
disaster.
Too soon. That was almost a doubt town center. And look, we've got... Is that a hole? No, it's not.
There's a little hole in that wood line. There. No.
Yeah,
no. Oh, no.
Brilliant rating by Stephen. This is exactly what you want to do if you're the Magyars in this game.
Yeah, this is a fantastic knight push.
It hurts. You hear us groaning because, we've been there and watched our entire economy melt. So we know a little bit of what it feels like to be in Tom's shoes here. And it's just painful. Mm-hmm. He's got... he just in garrisoned all sorts of idle time villagers stuck in the town center.
Yeah.
Tom's moved his knights forward a bit. He might have gotten some kills with them. Looks like he did. But he needs to move them forward again.
I don't know what you do if you're Tom. I mean, at this point, he has more than double your Vil lead.
Yeah.
Your Vil count. And
second count, Tom has 2 town centers. So what do you do?
True.
I don't know what you do.
Yeah.
But there is a trade-off to that. Tom does have 2 town centers, and those knights aren't full health anymore. So yeah, they haven't been killed, but they can't duck under the town center with the impunity that they could.
But you know what else is happening? Steven is now taking control of the center island. And so...
He has control, and all that golden stone.
Right. And so that's one of those situations where Tom has the second town center. That's great. So there's that long-term potential. And we do see, by the way, Tom is now raiding with the knights. So that's good. He's picked up a couple of eco kills himself. I don't think it's, going to be enough, but because Steven does see it.
But yeah. It's taken a little pressure off of Tom. The micromanaging back at Tom's base is not as good as it was. And he's got some pikemen up anyway. But it ain't good.
Yep.
Knights go back in to raid Tom's second TC. Oh, he gets the villagers in just in time. Good for him. Pikemen go down to try to push them off. There's always the chance that Steven just doesn't see it and the pikemen get free hits.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
That's not what happened.
That's what Tom needs in order to even have a fighting chance.
Yeah.
Is for Steven to just get distracted and then lose one of these blocks of knights.
Yeah. Yep. But, 49 vills to 20. Like, at this point,
Yeah.
you can't even trade even and hope to win right now. You need to get a decisive blow in now.
Yeah.
Especially because Steven's controlling all of the gold, all of the stone, comparatively speaking. This game is only going to get worse. Castle going down for Steven. And yeah, if you're Tom, you're not knocking that down anytime soon.
Yeah, this is one of those situations. I mean, Tom is at a Vill count that you normally get, you know, whatever that is, 10 minutes into the game in order to fast feudal, you know, to go up to the feudal age from the Dark Age. So he's now here deep into the Castle Age with 20 Vills against Steven, who's got, you know, just about 30 more Vills than that.
Yeah.
And he's out of resources. You know, he does not have a lot in the way of food, not a lot in the way of wood. He needs both of those in order to get, you know, more spearmen out.
Well, and along that line, you know, Tom's got these. He slipped that villager by, which I love, by the way.
Yeah, this was a great call.
He's got those 2 stables back there, but no food to build anything with it. So at that point, yeah, you've got those buildings there. That's good and all, but what can you do? Like, truly, what can you do?
Yeah. And, you know, Steven is not letting up. He's training up even more knights.
Again, that's what you do if you're the Magyar. You know, don't let the pressure off. Start pressing the gas pedal early and don't let up.
Tom throwing down stone walls. He's trying to block that in. We were talking about maybe you should do that, you know,
Yeah. You know, I think if Tom had completely surrounded his watchtowers instead of just going 4 square, because knights can attack through a 4 square. If he had put stone walls there, maybe he could have held that center island a little longer. Yes, Steven could have slipped by, but those towers would still be covering that golden stone. You know, you couldn't have villagers there. So, you know, and that's, like I said, that's 8 stone per tower. If he had stonewalled off that passage earlier, even better. Keep the knights out to begin with. Steven's got knights on the stables that Tom slipped by. They haven't seen the villager apparently, which is good for Tom.
It's a small comfort if you're Tom. But you know what's really news to me is Steven throwing down a 2nd and a 3rd town center.
And how about this? You know, if you're Steven, you can clearly see you're winning.
Yeah.
Right? Like, your score's 5,000 versus 3,000, so we've said over and over, score don't mean everything, and it don't, but it still means something.
Right. It's a fair indicator. I will say Tom
Pikemen
did just get a significant
some really
win.
Good kills in the back line against the Knights.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He got a good kill there. So both players now on, well, Steven's got 3 town centers. Tom is getting a 3rd up. I got to give Tom credit. I mean, he is not throwing in the towel. He is doing what he can. But what do you do now? What are your options?
Look at this army here. We've got 31 knights. We've got 3 Magyar Hussar. I'm a little surprised Steven hasn't pushed his fire ships up and started blasting a hole in the stone wall. Yeah, they're not gonna go through quickly, but might as well put some pressure on it while you can. But hey, he's got the pressure on everywhere else. He doesn't really need to.
They're like, hey, what's this thing doing here? Yeah, there we go. And the fighting begins.
So I'm not able to hear the Kaiser right now. I'm guessing he has a mic problem of some kind. We've got Tom moving in. He's putting up a 2nd layer of stone walls around behind his 1st. There you are.
Okay, sorry, man. I've been talking this whole time. I figured I was coming through.
No, you
just
haven't.
I had award-winning commentary.
But...
Yeah, it was fantastic. But I got to give Tom credit for holding on. You know, he's doing the best he can. What I think he wants to do is keep the knights out long enough to throw a castle down on this choke point.
Yeah. Which, I don't know how well that'll do against knights, with this many knights, but that could work. But look at this. The castle he's throwing down is way up here.
What?
I don't get that at all. No, again, no criticism here.
Especially because we do see a transport ship come out for Steven. Maybe Tom is secretly genius. But yeah, my initial thought was, wow. That's a surprise for me. Because now you got that castle. If that goes up, how are you going to stop this army, the enemy at the gates?
Yeah. Especially because you have to know, you don't have control over the stone. You're probably only going to get the one castle. You can't set up a castle here and a castle
This
there.
is the kill move right here. Transport ships moving in.
Yep, there they are.
The knights say, hey, we don't need to go, through the wall. We can just go around the wall.
To Grandma's house we go.
Mm-hmm. Hello, Grandma. It is I, the Knight Army.
Now, checking what Tom sees here. Does he? Yeah, he sees the transport ships. Gotta know it's coming.
Yep. Tom is queuing up monks. Now, I love monks, and monks are a good choice against knights in small numbers.
Yep.
I don't know, especially not one monk, two monks. I don't know how effective they're going to be.
Monks, if make sure that the knights stay on the other side of the wall. Even one or two is great.
Yeah.
It's a big difference.
Yeah.
But with this here, not a chance. They won't survive.
Here we go. The battle has commenced. Gotta give Tom, again, big credit. If we pause right here and look at the eco numbers, he has really...
he's closed that gap
He's closed the gap a fair bit. And if these pikemen can do serious damage, especially because he's only having to fight part of Steven's army.
Yep.
That was big. That was big.
It absolutely is.
Tom needs more food to churn out more pikemen. We need more numbers.
Tom has been, his little foothold has been pushed out. He is now fully on his side. That's worth pointing out.
If there's one saving grace here for Tom, it's that Steven is basically his army's one unit. Knights.
Yep.
So, you can come up with the right counter for knights, and you're golden, right? He needs to get the pikemen over there now. That town center will go down.
Does. It's not going to last.
Oh, here we go. What?
It's going to be close. It's going to be tight. Here they go.
But here's the even if. Oh wow. Oh wow.
That is huge.
That is
my word.
Massive for Tom.
Oh my word.
Wow. Is the game even? No. Is Tom back? Well, again, it's not an even game, but that was a really, really big necessary win for Tom. He's come up for air. Steven still has 30 vills, but and still has a military lead. But now he's got to consider, if you are Steven at this point, you've got to realize there may be a problem with doing nothing but knights.
Yeah. And this is where I think mixing in some of the scouts, you're the Magyars, you get really good light cav. Mm-hmm. Mixing some of them in to deal with the monks is not a bad idea at all. It's not going to do much against the pikemen, but it's not a bad idea against monks.
Yeah. Now, here's what I'm predicting. I think that Steven, he's going up to the Imperial Age now. I think he's going to go for the heavy-hitting, trebuchets. He's going to get them out, break down the wall, and then he'll use the trebuchets to take down the town centers, and the knights will serve as that, defensive force. He's sitting on 1,000 stone. I'm wondering whether he's going to sell the stone or use it.
I mean, if I were Steven, I'd use it. If your enemy's countering with pikemen and monks, well, Those can deal with knights if the knights go forward, but they can't deal with castles. And you can just walk them up.
Gotta give Tom some credit. He is taking advantage of the relics. He's got at least one in. I don't know whether he's going to go for a
Good
second.
for him.
Steven does not have relics down yet, it looks like.
Tom is about to lose. He just lost a fire galley to 2 knights. Unfortunate. But that's good. You know, if you can get your knights to play against ships, by all means, go.
Right.
You know, one thing I think Tom could use, again, you know, not wanting to beat a dead horse or anything, but I think fire galleys is the wrong choice here, partially because of the range. If they were regular galleys, you could post them up under your castle and just bid the enemy come and take them out. Fire galleys, though, you know, again, got to walk up. They're easy to kite. They're vulnerable to any kind of defensive building. And clearly they're vulnerable to knights, too.
Tom starting to go up into Castle Age now.
Imperial, but yes.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Tom going
He's
up
also
Imperial.
dropped down another 2 docks that are just going to immediately go.
Exactly.
I think he's trying to reassert control over the water. I don't think he's going to get it. And I think it's a little bit of a waste of wood. He's dropping 3 docks in the back. Look at that.
Wow. Yeah. He sees water as his way out of this.
Yeah. And he might be right, honestly. Like, you don't have many plays, but if you can dominate the water, you might have a chance.
If I remember correctly, the Japanese do get cannon galleon. And so
Cannon galleon would be good, I think.
I believe all of these castles are, you know, in range of cannon galleons. Of course.
Cannon galleon would be a good play.
Yeah. I'm wondering, we do see demo ships coming in for Tom.
Yeah.
With a good... And another relic coming in, too. Tom is
one
really
thing that
holding
he
on
could
well
be
here.
doing- Yeah. I'm surprised he's held on as long as he has. You know, for a moment, I thought he was about ready to throw in the towel.
And Steven loses a dock on the west side. Ooh.
Yeah.
Now, wait a minute. Take these fire ships, move over, and start harassing the trebuchets. Come on.
Yes.
Go now. Go now. Nope. Too late. Now Steven's navy is there to support.
Yep. I don't know if they could have ranged that. I think they could have, but they're just far enough away from the shore to where I'm not sure. All right, now does he queue up gunpowder immediately? If he queues up gunpowder immediately, then we know he's going to go into the cannon galleon. It doesn't look like he is.
Fletching?
Fletching for Steven.
For Steven, yeah. What's the deal there?
I mean, he could be
Cav
just going
Archer?
to get his castles. Yeah, Cav Archer maybe. Or he could be going to just give his castles a little extra range to deal with the ships. Because in a map like this, you know, where the water's not very wide, one of your best anti-ship weapons is castles.
Now, Tom has lost his castle, but it looks like he has taken control of the water.
Yep.
Oh, or has
And
he?
there it
or
is.
has he? The Trebs.
No. Oh, wow.
The Trebs. Making it a Pyrrhic victory. Cavalier. Plate barding armor coming in for Steven.
You know, those Trebs are going to make short work of that wall, and then there's not much standing between the 41 Cavalier and victory. Tom goes for a castle on the other side of the island.
Tom has 10... He just picked up Halberdier. And it's
Okay,
got 10
that's
more queued
good.
up.
That's a big deal.
That's pretty massive. Because I think 38 Halberdier might beat 45 Cavalier.
Oh, I would say.
Now,
With
I
their
do
bonus
wish...
damage,
I do wish that they
36.
had the infantry armor. I want that castle age
Yeah,
infantry
I agree
armor.
too. Now, Tom goes into Galleon. He's researching Galleon. I wonder if that's a misclick. I don't think it is. I think that's deliberate. And I wanted to see him go bombard or cannon galleon rather.
fast fire ship researched by Steven. And he is
Paladin
building docks.
coming in for Steven.
The Vil counts are almost even.
Which is shocking. It's
Yeah.
an incredible play by Tom.
Yep.
You know, they were so far down earlier. And here's another thing. It's not just the Vil counts. It's the total. It's the pop count. 158 to 145. Now, granted, a lot of Tom's pop is in trash, but it's in trash that counters Steven's army. So
Now, I do got to say
that.
this. I just did a count, and Tom has around about 2,200 gold left
Yeah.
on his side of the map, and that's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's done really well so far, and we do see Steven is the first one to research chemistry. So I'm concerned
for Tom.
I am just concerned that once that gold runs out,
Yeah.
what are your options?
So, and this is why I think Cannon Galleon is a necessary play. You've got to deal with those castles.
Yeah.
You've got to deal with them. You've got to take back control over that center island.
Right.
And right now, Halbs, they might deal with the cav, but they're not going to knock down the castles.
Right.
Trebs, well, they can knock down castles, but they're not going to stay alive against the cav.
Tom going with some
Cannon
trebs of his
galleons.
own.
Yeah. Cannon Galleons can both take down the castles and stay alive, at least theoretically.
Yeah. Oh, we see fast. We got 9 fast fire ships from Steven. And cannon galleons behind that. Tom has 5 fire ships. The naval battle is commencing.
Yeah.
The saving grace is Tom does have... And he's researching Catapuruto. So if it becomes a Treb versus Treb fight, you have that advantage for the Japanese.
That is also true. That's very true. Now, if he pulls back those fire ships underneath the cover of his castle and manages to fight the fast fires there, that could be a big deal.
Yeah.
If Steven doesn't see it.
But you know what? Steven is doing what we've been advocating for Tom to do. He's got the cannon galleons on the way. This castle is not long for this world.
That castle is... doomed.
Boom, boom. Now maybe the trebs that Tom has could be used to take out the cannon galleons.
They do pack and unpack and fire faster, so yes, it could be done.
Tom is now
I don't think it
chemistry.
will. Yep.
And the infantry armor. Yes.
There we go.
Siege engineers coming in for Steven.
Oh, so close. Demolition ship almost, or did it? I don't think it did. Almost got off on several, like 5 fast fire ships. So that would have been significant. You know, if nothing else, that Tom has held on this long, this far behind is just incredible.
You know, hey, give it to him. He's got the Vil lead right now. I mean, it's like 6 Vils an hour into the game, but...
Right, but still. Now, Steven has hit pop cap.
Right.
There's not much more for him to do than to turn on the heat. So I predict we're going to see, you know, the epic conclusion one way or the other in the next couple minutes.
Here we
Treb's
go.
knocking down the wall. And Steven once again has water control.
Yeah. And that, I think, is what will maybe secure him the win here. Because I think if Steven rushes in with his 57 Paladin and runs into 60 Halberdier, that might give... I think Tom wins that fight.
Right.
You know, so... the real battle is Treb versus Treb. Is that a single Treb? What are the other two?
Heavy Scorpion coming in for Steven. That's a good answer to heavy to massed halbs. But again, you know, if
here we
you
go.
think about it,
The fight commences.
Yep. Cataparuto is significant. First blow, Treb versus Treb.
Okay, I think man for man, the Paladin beat the Halberdier. Now, of course, economically, that's a win for Tom, but when Steven has all of these resources of the Center Island, the economic losses aren't that big a deal. It's just about breaking through, and now he is through. I don't see how Tom stops this. I mean, I said that half an hour ago, but I really don't see how Tom stops this now.
Yeah, me either. I don't know what else to do.
Yeah, and you can even see, you know, a couple of units here and there picking off vills, and Tom's mind has to be in like 10 different places.
Yeah. Well, and again, you know, you can pick up any one of these units, lose them all, and it still doesn't favor Tom. You could lose all the Paladins, but you've still got the Magyar Hussars. You could lose all of the Trebuchets, but you've still got the Cannon Galleons.
Right.
You could lose all the Cannon Galleons, but then you still got to contend with, you know, the other Navy. And I think he's put up a one heck of a valiant fight, but I don't see a road to victory from this.
Hiram, as we watch this, I feel pretty confident calling this game for Steven. And we're going to watch it to conclusion, but what happened here that gave Steven the edge, that it looks like he's going to win this game?
Well, if I had to say the first thing is first, Tom should have stonewalled the shallows. He chose to put up an outpost and then a couple of watchtowers, and I don't think that was the right call. That's a good call against archers, but it's not a good call against an opponent who's likely to go cav. Right. And, you know, what do you expect the Magyar to go? So, and that's not me knocking Tom, but if we're looking at decisions that could have gone differently, if you managed to get a stone wall across that shallow, and then you didn't get raided at all, like, he fought so well being that far behind. I can only imagine what this game would have looked like if it had been an even fight early. Right. So that. I think he should have kept with the galleons instead of the fire galleys. I think he went a little heavy early, and that pushed back his castle age time, and that caused its own problems. So keep track of your wood a little bit better, and get up to castle age at roughly the same time. And again, then you're dealing with knights versus pikemen, not knights versus spearmen. So that's a big deal. And then lastly, the cannon galleons. There were a couple periods where he had control over the water, and 2 or 3 cannon galleons there just mop up those castles.
Right.
There's not much that could be done about that. Cannon galleons take down trebuchets pretty decently if you're willing to micro. It's not terribly hard. I mean, it does take some attention, but it's not hard.
Right.
So there's not much that Steven could have done if Tom had gone cannon galleon earlier instead of going into the fire ships.
And I've absolutely been there. I know what it's like, but I think you called it. That's exactly what I had in mind. Is you had the towers. If you had walled up, that would have been great. The deal with the Navy early on, the thing that gets me is, you know, that part where he kind of sent out 2 or 3 and lost those, sent out 2 or 3 and lost those. And if he just kept them at home and built up a big ball, I think that, in fact, I know because, you know, Steven stayed on 3 fire ships forever. Yeah. You know, if you just built up to, you know, the 8 or 9 whatever galleys and then hit those fire ships with the 9 galleys, he does win that fight.
Yeah, he absolutely does.
And that changes everything. And then, like this is what I was saying, I've been there, I sympathize so much, but I don't think he realized, hey, wait a minute, I can go chemistry, I can go into, you know, cannon galleons, until he saw Steven do it. And I think if he had the initiative there, he was already so far behind that I'm not saying he would have won the game, but it may be. You know, it might have been enough to just throw the game up in the air and, you know, at least, you know, whatever, kind of get Steven on his heels some and push him maybe off that center island. But man, what a performance by Tom! What a performance by Steven! Great set. Thank you guys both for playing. Hiram, any last thoughts on this one?
No, I think it's pretty much covered. Obviously,
Yep.
well played by both civs or both players. Thanks for letting us cast your games. Thanks for
Yeah.
being the ones to put in the real work, so I can just kick back and talk for a while. That's always
Right.
fun. Last one. I'm going to close with this. You said what could have been done differently? Blacksmith upgrades. So often it comes down to blacksmith upgrades, and
Yeah.
I think in this one I don't know that it would have changed anything, but I think we definitely saw the effect of being behind on your blacksmith.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
if I had to end on a thought, that's what I'll end on. Get your blacksmith upgrades, people. You need them.
That's right. Amen. Well, Hiram, thanks so much for joining me in this set. I appreciate it. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Tom, Steven, thanks for playing and submitting the records for us. We really appreciate it. This is the Iron Kaiser, along with Hiram of Tyre, signing out with our Wandering Squires Cup third place decider set. We'll see you around.